mid-50s. In the greater New York City area, temperatures will be in the 50s. In the mid-Atlantic plus West Virginia, temperatures will be in the 50s to low 60s. In the southeast, I do expect temperatures in places like the Carolinas, Tennessee, that will be in the 60s. In Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, they're in the 70s. Hold on a minute. Okay, I'm back, folks. Okay, so in Arkansas, temperatures range from the upper 50s to low 70s. Louisiana has temperatures that are in the mid 70s to low 80s. In Florida, temperatures there, they're in the mid 70s to upper 80s. In Oklahoma, temperatures range from the upper 50s to mid 60s. In the western parts of Texas, they range from the mid 60s to mid 70s. Abilene has temperatures at 79 degrees. In southern Texas, temperatures are in the 80s to mid 90s. Eastern Texas, southeastern Texas, temperatures are in the 80s. Northeast Texas, they're in the 70s. In the Ohio Valley, throughout much of the Ohio Valley, temperatures are in the upper 40s to upper 50s. In the Great Lakes region, like Michigan and Wisconsin, temperatures are in the 40s to low 50s. Minnesota has temperatures that are in the mid 40s to upper 50s. In the Dakotas, temperatures they range from the mid 50s to the upper 60s. The Missouri River Valley, you have Iowa, temperatures are in the 50s. In Missouri, you get temperatures that are in the mid 50s to mid 60s, as well as Nebraska. In Kansas, temperatures range from the upper 50s to low 70s. Montana has temperatures that are in the 60s and to the low 70s for the most part of the state. Well, actually, make that the upper 50s to low 70s. In Idaho, temperatures are in the northern and eastern sides of the state, they're in the 50s. In southwestern Idaho, temperatures are in the 60s. In Wyoming, though, temperatures range from the mid 50s to low 60s, mid 60s. In Colorado, you have temperatures that range from the low 50s to the mid 60s. In Utah, talking about diverse spectrum of temperatures, in which you have 57 in Logan to 73 in St. George. Overall, much of the state has temperatures that are in the upper 50s to upper 60s. In Nevada, much of the state temperatures are in the upper 50s to low 70s, but going downstate, they're in the mid 70s to low 80s. As you go down to the desert southwest, though, in New Mexico, it's also a diverse temperature reading as well. You get 55 in Española and Gallup to 82 in Carlsbad. It's very mild and chilly on the northern side, but on the southern side it's warm. In northern Arizona, though, you have temperatures that range from 57 in Kaibito to 77 in Kingman, with 61 in Flagstaff and 53 in Alpine. When you go down to the southern side of the state, though, temperatures range from the upper 70s to mid 90s. You go down, you go to the west towards California, where you have 64 in Eureka. The San Francisco Bay Area has temperatures that are in the 60s. You go down the coast, it's 80 in LA, 71 in San Diego, 91 in Indio. Throughout the Central Valley, California, they're in the upper 60s to mid 70s. And finally, in the Pacific Northwest, though, in Oregon, you have temperatures that range from the mid 50s to mid 60s. In Washington State, though, temperatures range from 46 in Trail in Wenatchee to 68 in Walla Walla. Now let's talk about gusts. I'm not going to repeat the whole process thing. Where are the gusts? Well, there are a lot of gusts. They're blowing up to 30 to 40 miles an hour in places like western New York, all the way down to eastern West Virginia, western Virginia. Plenty of gusty winds throughout much of Florida, where they're blowing around 30 to 40 miles an hour. But it's most likely because of what's going on with Melissa right here. But even though it's just about a little more than 1,000 miles away. Yeah, hundreds of miles away, if you know what I mean, folks. Point is, folks, so plenty of gusts are going on in the Lone Star State. They're blowing around 30 to 50 miles an hour. Lubbock is experiencing very high winds, wind gusts, blowing around up to 40 to 50 miles an hour in a few places, though. Throughout the eastern plains, though, right around the Missouri River Valley, gusts are up to 30 to 40 miles an hour. And a little bit in the desert southwest, though. And in the Pacific Northwest, though, you have a lot of gusts. Some of them range from about 30 to 50 miles an hour. Otherwise, it'll be a little more faster. Right around up to 80 miles an hour in a few places like Oregon's west coast, though. And just a little bit up to 50 miles per hour in gusts, or 60 near Enterprise, Oregon, and also near Riggins, Idaho. Right near Seattle and Puget Sound area, you have gusts that are blowing up to 60 miles an hour. Let's take a look at the humidity. So where's the humidity? There's a lot of humidity in places like northern New England, upstate New York, on the southeast coast of Florida, on the Atlantic side. Southern plains getting plenty of humidity to go around. Western Texas as a result of some storms that are there. Northern New Mexico and Colorado. And there is a lot of moisture to go around in the Pacific Northwest on the coastal side, though. Yet it's what they call an atmospheric river. We'll get to that in a moment, folks. I mean, you do see a river of atmospheric moisture that you guys are seeing right now. This, we're going to talk about that for the weather topic of the day. Even though I've already done the Pineapple Express, which was a couple months ago. But this time, this is more of a general term instead. And I do see a lot of moisture that's located in Hispaniola, Jamaica, much of Cuba, and much of the Bahamas, though. Now, let's take a look at rainfall accumulation in the next 24 hours, though. There's a lot of rainfall to go around, and it could be as much as around 2 to 4 inches in many places, like much eastern Texas, central Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas. But near Dallas, Fort Worth, they could get as much as about up to 6 inches of rain, but a little heavier in localized areas. Just right near Houston and northwestern part of the state, near College Station, they could get as much as 4 inches of rain. In southern Minnesota, though, just outside of Minneapolis, St. Paul, they could get as much as an inch of rain. In the Pacific Northwest, though, they could get as much as about up to 4 to 6 inches of rain, locally heavier amounts, though. Mostly on the coastal side, Idaho and the leeward side of the Cascades, though, on both Washington and Oregon, about as much as an inch or inch and a half or two. And what about the next 24 hours? Let's take a look in terms of any new snowfall. I think I could hear background music, folks. Nah, never mind. The Cascades could see just about as much as about an inch, about almost 2 feet of snow on Washington's Cascade Range and Olympic National Park. But down along Oregon, they could get as much as about 6 to a foot of inches to a foot of snow. Idaho, about as much as 1.5 feet of snow. Otherwise, it'll be just at least 6 inches of snow in the center part of the state, though, in Idaho. You go to northern New Mexico, they can get as much as about up to 2 inches or 3 inches of snow. Elsewhere, you're not getting much. Though it would be wise just to check up with your local weather office or your local officials just to get accurate weather readings, such as rainfall, snowfall, or even freezing rain and sleet accumulation as well, and as well as wind gusts, wind direction, wind speed, due to localized weather parameters such as sea breeze, lake breeze, mountain breeze, and such. Let me just switch gears to right around here. Wait, yeah, here for a later reference. And we're gonna go here, and we're gonna talk about the upper level part of the atmosphere. What we do have here, so pretend that this is right now. I mean 0Z, which means that it's 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. But just assume that this is right now. We do have a trough that's over New Mexico, and another one over northern New England, a small one over northern Minnesota, and another trough that's just sitting offshore from British Columbia. There's a ridge that's located over southwestern California, and another ridge just over the Gulf Coast, and two tiny ridges are over eastern Montana and the upper Mississippi Valley. And there is another ridge just sitting offshore from the East Coast, though. What does this mean? There is a lot of wet weather to deal with, some storms occurring in places like Texas and Oklahoma, and the south central part of the United States, and as well as some wet weather that's occurring in places like Minnesota, and as well as the Pacific Northwest, most notably. And even a little bit as the atmospheric river approaches San Francisco. But right now, it's not the case right now. Now, we move on to 24 hours from now, where there will be an upper level low, which is a trough. It'll be over Oklahoma. And there will be another trough just to the north of New England. And another trough just over Vancouver Island, and there are ridges over southern Arizona, Georgia, and north of Minnesota, which means that we could still see a little bit of wet weather in some places like New England, and a few places throughout the Northeast, though, and plenty of wet weather. Storms will occur throughout places like eastern Texas, all the way to Tennessee and Kentucky, and even Alabama, Mississippi. And there will also be more storms brewing, but moving into the interior parts of the Northwest, though, like Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, and parts of the Great Basin, too, and maybe a little bit in parts of California and Nevada. Now, what about places like... now, what about Sunday night, though? Sunday night, there will be a trough just north of Montana. Another trough in a form of upper level low just over Arkansas. And another trough will be over Maine. And there is going to be a flat ridge over western Texas and southern New Mexico. And it looks like there is an upper level high just over Wisconsin and upper Michigan, which translates to a ridge, though. And there is a flat ridge just off of Georgia and the Carolinas and Florida. What does this mean? There's going to be still some storms there, but not as strong as like tonight or even tomorrow night. And there could be some storms and plenty of wet weather, some in the form of wintry weather, though. Wintry precipitation, though, in places like the Northern Plains, all the way to the Rocky Mountains and the Great Basin. And in some parts of the desert Southwest may get a little bit of wet weather, though. Wet weather, I mean, I don't know if I already said this, but it'll occur throughout the lower Mississippi Valley and the Southeast, and just a little bit in parts of the Northeast, though. And finally, Monday night, a trough, folding trough will occur throughout places like north of Montana, but connected all the way down to the Great Plains. And there is another trough just over Georgia, and